Welcome everyone
Yes.
to a wonderful interview, my sixth interview, by the way. And we have a very special guest, the legendary man who watched paint dry. He cooked a homemade pizza and is about to do a puzzle that is completely white. This man's name is just another channel. Wait, wrong name. 3Spooky. Wait, that's also wrong. 2Spooky.
Howdy. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm a little tired, I will say, but I am otherwise doing pretty darn good. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. Got some lemonade in my hand right now, so I'm all set.
Lemonade is good.
Lemonade is
I like
healthier.
lemons.
Raspberry lemonade is my favorite.
Respectable. I got raspberry lemonade G Fuel.
Oh, you love to see it. G Fuel is top tier.
Code breaks.
Cobras! So the very first question I want to ask is pretty much a simple question to get it all out of the way. What is your favorite anime of all time?
I would have to say One Piece, although I kind of group anime and manga together as like, its own thing. So while some people have problems with the One Piece anime, I would still say as a manga, it is still my favorite regardless of what medium it's in.
I also group manga and anime together. One Piece would be up there for me. So, I mean, Haikyuu is my number one, and I'm grouping the manga and anime. I think the anime is phenomenal, and the manga is even more phenomenal as well. So, and I've also finished the series. So, But what's your favorite game to play?
Ooh, that's very tough. I would say in general, probably my favorite game is RuneScape, but I haven't really had a lot of free time to play that right now, so I've just been kind of on hiatus. Otherwise, the Apex Boys is a lot of fun.
I did see the 101 Facts view, and you went over to RuneScape. I know your original content was RuneScape AMVs, right? Or something along that line.
Yeah, good old 2008, 2007, that era.
So,
no joke.
I mean, they were.
It's been a while.
I watched, I think, one of them, and they were not bad. What was your favorite food of all time?
Ooh, I like mostly breakfast foods. At basically anything breakfast related, I can usually get my hand I basically any breakfast food you could think of, I probably love, aside from like chocolate cereals.
Okay.
So it's pretty broad.
Chocolate cereals are pretty bad. I think the only chocolate cereal you will ever see me eat is the chocolate mini wheats, the mini wheats.
Mini wheats are fire, so I could understand that.
They are absolutely fire, and just like it tastes like Oreo to a certain extent, but it also doesn't. So it's a really good flavor for me. I can eat those all day. What's your favorite dessert if you had to pick?
Dessert, that is very tough, but I would probably say Oreo blizzards.
Oh,
Those are the thing I see. I feel like I go to those the most when it comes to like a dessert,
I either go to an Oreo blizzard or a hot fudge sundae myself.
See, I used to work at a DQ, so what I would do is I would literally blend so much Oreo into a blizzard that it would be basically like black paste. Diabetes in a cup, and it is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Do you have any fears?
Bees.
Bees?
I can't stand bees. I'm sure there's a couple other existential fears that I probably shouldn't mention on stream here, but bees.
Okay.
I hate bees. I respect what they do for the world, but I hate them.
I don't like bees either, to be fair. And
I fear them.
honestly, one of my biggest fears is going back to work at B-dubs.
I worked at B-dubs myself, and I quit after like 2 months. I quit over the phone because I hated it so much.
Wow, we did almost the same exact thing.
I just, everyone that worked there sucked, aside from my good pal and American Sushi co-host Evan. So he convinced me to work there. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then it sucked. And then they screwed me over on something. So I'm like, you know what?
I'm out.
Fuck them.
If you were to go to Japan someday, what would be the first thing you would do?
Buy a lot of stuff I don't need.
I think most of us
like
would
manga.
be on the same. Yep.
That would be the first thing I do is look at every store and be like, man, I need this, and I need this, and I need this, and I need this. And then I would basically be shipping an entire house full of stuff back. It would not be good. Well, debatable, but yeah.
That sounds kind of epic, not gonna lie.
I would specifically set aside a Japan fund worth the down payment of a house. Not that I have that money, but I'm gonna find it. I don't care if I have to do some extracurricular activities. Wink, wink.
I would be the same as that way. What was if you had to pick one? What was the most embarrassing or funny moment in your life?
Oh boy. I told this story before on a podcast, so like you'll be able to hear the entire thing on an American Sushi podcast that's upcoming, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
But basically, long story short, I was in like 7th grade, and I didn't know anything about like dating. and I was basically like set up on a date with this girl who already told me it wasn't going to happen. And I had it was at a movie, Avatar to be specific, the blue people. And I had this big bucket of popcorn, and I set it on a table, and I went to go tie my shoe because like that's why I was setting it down. And literally, as soon as they were because they were late, it was just me and my friend at the time. So as our dates were walking into the movie theater, I bent down to tie my shoe, and the bucket of popcorn just spilled all over the floor, like in the middle of the entire room.
Oh.
Everyone turned, and that's as they were walking. I was like, "Oh man,
well,
this sucks eggs."
Yeah.
So that's probably my most embarrassing moment. There's a couple for sure, but that one sticks out.
I have embarrassing moments myself. So this happened after a concussion of mine. I had a concussion, and what happened was I went to I was finally able to go back to school, but one of the biggest issue with concussions is it's hard to see even with light. So it was just like I was wearing sunglasses inside school. So it was just like I'm walking through it, and I went past a window which was shining like I was blinded for a little bit. I trip over and fall, and I felt something squishy, and yeah, that was my first experience with a boob.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, and it wasn't even, and it was someone I actually knew, one of my best friends. So that was like, she at least knew that I was blind that day, but
she's just scribbling down the assault charge real quick. Like, yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't even worry about it.
I did get slapped though, so that was deserved. So
hey, you know what? Slap on the wrist versus some jail time. I'll take it.
I am too. I think that was like 11. No, it was 10th grade year, so it was not the best experience.
Respectable.
So I'm gonna get into the more personalized questions now, and I think I started completely watching your channel from your top 10 words video, and then during that time I also was watching you edit the manga versus movie for Blade of the Immortal, which was a phenomenal video, by the way. I died laughing. I have been enjoying your channel ever since. Do you have any major project planned for 2021? Would you like to get done with or have started?
Well, I always have a ton of ideas in the works. Like, I've never ever shown anybody the amount of ideas I have, kind of just like in the background cooking. But as far as like projects I really want to hit this year, I want to get another manga versus movie going. I have one video I'm working on right now, plus 2 others that have some sort of progress done. Like, one has all the audio recorded already, and then one has the script done, which is really long and a lot of effort. So those are 3 videos that I want to get going that already have work done on them, and they're all big projects in their own way. Other than that, I possibly want to try doing some sort of movie review this year for like a terrible movie nobody cares about.
Okay.
And just also try some new ideas, mainly.
New ideas is always like the best way to go, just in case. Because the one thing I was experimenting myself was I wanted to do a special series, I guess you can say, on my channel, and it started with a video called My Darkest Secret, the one I told you about already. Yeah. And it was supposed to be a meme sort of video, but it's like supposed to be gathered around like my backstory, the lore of Tau type stuff. Because on my channel, I have this long running gag already that I'm the sexiest subconscious, and it's pretty much revolving around that. So we're just like, I want to do more videos like that. My next one I have planned is called My Harem or something like around that line, but I gotta figure out how to like in place it. It has some things to do with anime, but not really. It's more or less just me rambling on about a story that is semi-true. So
gotcha.
I want to implement that, and I was very scared to release the first video, as like most people are when you're going off of something new and trying new things, such as like when my first episode of the interview series came out with Cyanide. I was extremely nervous about it, but some people boosted up my confidence, and they both did really well. So I was happy. So
yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It's always a weird mental risk when it comes to uploading anything you're not sure about. And it's always great when it pays off.
I will 100% let you know you have a phenomenal fan base, and we all love you to death.
I love you boys and girls out there too.
Yeah. And to be honest, that last video, I was like, I wonder what he's gonna do, and I laughed my butt off. Because
honestly, I didn't think my jokes would even be funny, so I'm glad that people ended up liking it.
The one thing that I will let you know, I'm gonna bring up one more moment. When you did the eye stretching man, you were just like, this man can stretch his eyes, nothing else, and you just drag him into like
that was my idea. Like I laughed at that myself. I'm like, it'll be funny because like I have nothing to say, so it's just straight to F, you know. Like, I'm glad that somebody appreciated that joke.
Of course, I think a lot of jokes did hit though. You did a phenomenal job.
I tried my best. Like while I was writing the script, I'm like, man, I'm trying too hard to be funny. I don't know if any of this actually works, but it's an idea I've wanted to do for a long time now. Probably like around the time that I came up with the idea for the Worst Quirks video, so it's been like a year in the making. But
yeah,
I just thought it would be dumb fun.
Oh, it was dumb fun. But that wasn't the first time I saw you. I was first introduced to your stream by a Brago raid, and hot damn, were those dudes were great. Seeing you duking on the nerds ever since. What has been your favorite thing about being on Twit?
Ooh, I would definitely say the viewer interaction has been the best thing about Twitch, because I've been doing Twitch in some fashion, I think, since like late 2016. I just took a lot of breaks in between, obviously, but yeah, being able to like connect one-on-one with viewers like live and just speak to people, chat about whatever, it's been a lot of fun. It's great to get to know a lot of the people in the community that way. And at least with how I do YouTube, I feel like there's that disconnect there where it's hard to interact with people a lot because I don't really do content that's viewer based, you know. So getting on stream and just being able to chat with whoever's there, just have some good old gaffes and goofs the entire time is just a lot of fun. That's what I love the most about it.
And most definitely, ever since I've been enjoying your streams, you're a phenomenal dude. And I have like, I think a 10k bit badge on one of my thing and almost going up to a 5k on my other one. Just because you're amazing. I will support people who I absolutely think are amazing people, and you're amazing, man.
And I love you for it.
I mean,
you're keeping the lights on for your boy.
The dudes are the one thing that keeps me going. Yes!
Just a little something to get you through the day right there.
Of course.
It's on the house. It's on the house.
Oh, thank you. What was one of the moments of Twitch or YouTube that you still remember from last year?
Ooh, from last year. Let me think. I feel like last year is just kind of this weird blur, you know, because everything... I didn't really do too much because of the pandemic. And I remember the weird thing about being a YouTuber, at least in my sense, since I do all my work myself in terms of like all the editing and all that jazz, I feel like I spend a lot of time on my computer, right? Yeah. So like days and weeks just kind of blend together half the time. But if I will say, I would say the thing that stands out to me the most is a lot of the epic Apex Boys gaming sessions, because I started playing Apex last year. Like that's when I started. It's not like I've been playing for a long time. So it's needless to say that I wasted / spent a lot of enjoyable time with the Apex Boys and just playing Apex in general last year, when I probably should have been using that time for other things, but it was very enjoyable and I do not regret it. So I would say that's my standout moment of last year.
Especially getting that 15 dub win streak with the anime, the gamer girls, or the Apex boys, whatever.
Hell yeah.
With on the train games, that was epic. I remember, I think I was playing train game myself at the time. I was watching Jordan. I don't think you were live. You might have been.
I probably wasn't. I don't even remember.
But I was watching Jordan, and I'm just hearing this. I'm playing Apex train games myself, and I'm so happy we weren't in the same match, or I would have instantly died. But it was a fun time, and that was full of laughs, full of amazing times, and that's like one iconic moment I remember. Obviously, another moment I remember is donating like the sits. I don't know how many bits I donated, but how many bits I donated to get Bo on screen. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I remember that.
One of the few waifus I've put on stream.
Yes, and it just happened to be a great one.
I'll agree. I'll agree. Not the best, but a great one. We'll leave it at that.
Yes. Number 4 of my personalized questions. #spooky for partner is a thing, and we will get you to that point at some point this year. You will become partner. We will try our best to make sure you become partner. But do you have any secret plans to get your viewer count your follower count up there to be able to become a part?
Ooh. I can't say I have any like magical secret techniques up my sleeve. I'd say the main thing is just to stream more because I'm already bad at doing it consistently as is, so that's something I really want to change this year. I think probably playing some more games, maybe making a bigger push for people from YouTube to come over to Twitch definitely could help. And also just keep up with the really oddball streams, such as you mentioned, watching paint dry and baking a pizza. Things like that people seem to really enjoy, but the only issue with that is like you can't do them all the time because then they won't be special anymore. So you got to keep it a nice little treat for people.
And that's why I like what you do. I think my first time I was like, wait, this guy's gonna do a lawn mowing stream. I was so confused. And you were like doing a lawn mowing stream. I remember watching the entire stream. I was at work, by the way. I was watching the entire stream, and I'm just hearing a lawn mowing go off when I'm working. Like, you know, this is actually kind of epic. It's better than it's a lot better than actually listening to my boss. So
I'm glad that I could be of assistance.
It was a legendary stream. So going back to YouTube for a moment, I see some of your longest videos of the manga versus movie, which is phenomenal. How much goes into them, and what do you usually do to prepare for such a long video?
Well, let's just say they take an astronomical amount of time. And, well, the part that always starts first is just kind of like finding out. So, how do I explain this? Basically, it all starts with finding out what movies have a live action, right? Like which manga have a live action in existence. And I've come up with definitely over 100 in terms of like, probably closer to 200 that I could possibly do. So I've kind of put them in an order that I want to somewhat stick to with a little bit of leg room to swap some stuff around. But in terms of like what actually goes into it, it starts by obviously like reading the manga and watching the movie, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not something you can just do one time. It's more like you read it and you watch it once to get the initial feeling for everything. And then you got to go back through and you just got to watch like scene by scene, read thing by thing. And you really have to like make the story like second knowledge to, or what's the word? You basically have to know it like the back of your hand so that whenever something comes up that like, you know, isn't in there or is different, you can be like, oh, that's different. I can write that down. I can talk about how this is not the same, you know? So then you got to write the whole script, and some movies or some franchises have multiple movies, such as the Dragon Ball one where they had 3. So it's like, then you have to do the entire thing multiple times because I don't like the idea of splitting up a video. I think that's a very like counterproductive idea because no matter what video you make, like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 2 will never reach the same amount of views as part 1. It's just like normal facts, right? So I feel as long as you have a coherent package, then anybody who views it, obviously if they leave early, that's on them, but they get the whole experience in one sitting, right? Yeah. So the next manga versus movie I plan to do is a little different because there's a live action, there's an animated film, and there's a manga, and they all 3 kind of coincide in their own way in terms of comparisons. So it's going to be a little different to wrap my head around, but I think the main thing, like I'm trying to prep myself up for it because I want to start working on it soon, but I know it's going to be a lot of work. But I basically have to read the manga again, then watch the animated film again, and mainly kind of just talk about the differences between those 2. And then I got to watch the live action and compare that to those other 2. And then I know there's also some anime stuff from like a different anime that coincides with the live action as well. So it's going to be a process. Yeah. Not to go on like a whole tangent there, but
no, you're fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can kind of I don't know exactly what it is. I have a good idea what it could be for the idea of what it is, but I will not reveal that at all. So, because I want this to come as like a surprise to several people. So, might as well. So, your very first video I saw on 2Spooky, not your other channels. I did do some research on your other channels, but I didn't really want to go too deep into your other channels just because I'm on 2Spooky. But your very first public video on your channel, I have no idea if you have private videos at all, but is the Soul Calibur 50 character creation showcase from 6 years ago. And going through the evolution of your channel is stunning. Would you change anything about your channel?
I would say if I could change anything, it would just be in the earlier days, I probably would have. Well, I guess I wouldn't really change anything about it now that I think about it. I think it's more just like I would add to it rather than change anything that's already existing. Because there's not really any videos I regret making except for like 2 of them.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'm pretty content with most of the things on there. Like, obviously, I can't watch any of my older content anymore, but I'm still at least proud of where it came from, you know?
What's that? And the first time we hear your voice in a video it was October 14th, 2014, that hit 411 views. We played Modern Warfare 3, where you befriended a man named Ryan KTM Killer. Were gaming content your original idea for YouTube?
It wasn't my original idea for YouTube. Well, actually, I guess if you count RuneScape music videos, you could say gaming content was my original idea. But
yeah.
For this channel, at least, the very first uploads I did on it were for a concert that I filmed for some like local guys in my area, and I just needed something to post it on, so I just made this channel, and I posted those on there. They're privated now, just because obviously like the channel's become its own thing, so they don't really fit anymore. But after that, you could say that gaming was what I was originally going to do, because gaming was like pretty big around that time. Obviously, I think it was starting to slow down, but gaming channels were like a huge thing in YouTube around that time. And I do have a ton of gaming videos that are unlisted now, because I did do that for a while, but then that kind of transitioned to like Pokemon card openings with myself, Evan, and just stuff like that as well, but all those are also privated now. The anime stuff came after I took a little break from all that because the gaming content was really going nowhere, and the card openings were fun, but it's definitely costly, especially when like you're trying to live on your own, so I kind of had to stop. And the anime stuff just kind of just happened. It was more just something I was inspired by, and it ended up working out.
So going off the anime thing, your first dive into talking about anime was the 101 Facts About One Piece that came about 5 years ago and hit 466k views. I'm not going to ask where that came from because you explained that in the 101 Facts, such as Robin Usopp sharing the same blood type. Your latest 101 Facts video was about Attack on Titan. What do you think changed over the first one to now, which is 5 years? Well, first one, which was 5 years ago, to the one that just went out, I think last year. Well, 2 years ago now.
Well, I would say that the biggest changes are definitely just overall massive improvements in terms of, one, learning how to research, learning how to script, learning how to speak, learning how to edit. All that stuff has been vastly improved. There's some things like in that first One Piece video that like I was just taking information wherever I could find it. I didn't fact check, nothing like that. Whereas these days I take all that extra time to make sure that for the most part, at least everything that I'm writing down, like it seems like it's true if it's not true, you know? There are things that I can't really disprove just by looking around, or there are things that have legitimate facts behind them. So I would say just overall, just improvements. That's the best way to put it. Just pure improvement.
Okay.
Are the biggest changes.
So I want to confirm some things from the 101 Facts video about 2Spooky. You say that you were 20 years old in that video. Are you still 20 years old?
I hope so.
I
cannot confirm nor deny these accusations.
You also confirmed that your name was Brandon. Is it your real name or is it a false name?
I don't know.
Oh, you got me there.
Can't confirm or deny these accusations. Plead the fifth.
You also mentioned that your top
The answer's
5...
yes, though.
Okay. I knew it. I knew it. Guys, we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You also mentioned that you had your top 5 favorite anime were One Piece, Cowboy Bebop, Bleach, Samurai Champloo, and was tied between FMAB and Hunter x Hunter. Have your opinions changed on this matter?
Definitely. I would say that I don't really know what my actual top 5 anymore is, but I do know that my top 3 is One Piece, Berserk, and Hunter x Hunter. A lot of those other anime I still love to death, but it's been a while since I've seen a lot of them. Yeah. So I feel like when it comes to things that are your favorites, sometimes you need to kind of just like have a refresher if it's been a while to make sure, like, you know, you got to remember everything that you loved about it. And some of those, like Full Metal Alchemist, specifically, it's been a long time now, it feels, since I've watched it, and I don't remember a lot as I used to. So I definitely want to revisit that sometime in the near future to rekindle my love for it, you know?
And that's kind of what I'm doing with Bleach at the moment, is kind of revisiting Bleach, remembering what I liked about it. And I'm skipping the filler, of course, because the filler is absolutely dog crap.
Facts.
But,
don't skip the beach episode, though.
Oh, I haven't skipped the beach episode. We watched it like 8 times already.
Facts. Good.
But
proud.
Going off of Bleach, is Gin still one of your top favorite anime characters?
Yeah, I would say so. He still definitely sticks with me, whether it be his character design or his backstory or just, you know, the overall vibe he gives in Bleach. Those things definitely have stuck with me and made him one of my favorite characters. I don't know if I would say he's my absolute favorite anymore, but I don't really know who I would also say is my favorite, so it's hard to say. It's
always hard ranking characters. I made a top 100 favorite characters list that I have not revealed yet, but it's more or less a rough draft, because it always changes. Gintoki used to be one of my top favorite characters, and now he's like 5 or 5th now. It always completely changes, and like Mirio, here's an example. MHA, I always have like heated opinions about My Hero, but I always do not like it when people assume that I hate the show. I actually do enjoy it. It's just like, it's not like the most, what's the word for it? Not like the most need to watch, I guess, but it's always entertaining whenever I watch it, in a way.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
But there's, I'm a when it comes to Deku is like the one, you either have people who love him to death or hate him. I used to hate him, and then I gradually started liking him, here and there. He's mid for me. I'm actually in the middle ground. I joke around that I hate Deku, that he's terrible, but it's only just for the meme. Me personally, I think he's mid. I don't think he's like anything spectacular, but I don't think he's the worst main protagonist I've ever seen, because I think Boruto is far superior in that category. But it's just like those little things. But Mirio is my 3rd favorite character of all time. Mirio, I just love the dude so much, and he's the type of guy I strive to be like all the time. So.
Hell yeah.
But Akibento was public on your main channel, which then switched over to your secondary channel, 2Spooky. What was the reason you stopped making the videos on them?
It's pretty simple. They just stopped sending them, basically. They didn't email me or anything that they were going to stop. They just did. So I was like, okay.
Okay.
Because I liked doing those every month. They kind of gave me like a routine and everything, and they were really fun just to, you know, see what's inside all the time and make little videos about them. But I will say that a lot of times, like, I was kind of getting burnt out on it as well, because it's like the same thing every time in terms of like what the video is going to be. It's just me open box, show things, repeat, you know? So I was kind of getting burnt out on it anyways, but they were like, I'm pretty sure they were like the first sponsor that ever reached out to me. So it was really cool to work with them for a while.
And I most definitely understand the reasoning for not making the videos anymore, just because obviously they stopped, but also you do get burnt out of doing the same thing over and over again, and kind of gets draining to a way, as well as burnt out. So I fully understand. I
think at some point when I have some free time, I'll probably just order one to see like what's changed over the past couple of years in terms of what's in there, just for a little throwback. But
so I have actually ordered the ones for the past 6 months, I think, myself, just to they do not have stickers.
They don't have stickers anymore?
They did not have a sticker in a single one of mine.
Yeah.
So they still have like the shirt, they have the pin. I've gotten a couple mangas from them. I think the only one I didn't like was one of them, because the water bottle was terrible. The water bottle they sent me the lid didn't even go on. So it was just like, what is it?
I hate to see it. I'd say for the most part, they're pretty consistent. I'd say their best boxes are definitely the ones where they give manga out, especially the ones with like exclusive covers, because that's just really cool to me. But other than that, it's like, you know, a lot of this, like, I understand because they have to make a profit too. So like a lot of the stuff that are like made by them, you can tell that like definitely a lot of times it's like medium quality at best. Yeah.
So out of your collection of manga, what is the most read manga on your shelf?
Ooh, most read. Well, doing the Blade of the Immortal video, I definitely like read through that a couple times now. Other than that, what else? Let's see. A lot of times for video, I'll reread stuff just to make sure that I'm accurate with stuff, but let's see. I would say probably either that or Naruto or One Piece, because I've definitely read through those quite a bit. Or Bleach, I suppose that too. But I haven't had these books for Bleach as long, but I had the first 10 volumes for a long time in very ratty condition. And I read through those a couple times for sure.
Yeah. And I'm assuming your favorite series out of that bunch would probably be One Piece, right?
Yeah, since it's my favorite of all time, I would say so.
So, we're going to go into a little Twitter comment. I recently posted a thing tagging you, and I'm pretty sure you know what this is. But Cowgirls and Wolf Girls have been a heated conversation for number one. We have Team Jordan with Wolf Girls and Team Spooky with Cowgirls. But can we both agree that Cowgirl Wolfie was top tier?
Yes. Anyone in a cow outfit is automatically ramped up a couple tiers, I will say.
Wolfie's already adorable, but add her in a cow outfit, I was ooh. So. So your white puzzle set has arrived. How long? So we're gonna put this. How long do you think you're gonna be able to complete it? How long do you think it's gonna take you to complete it?
Multiple sessions. I don't think it's gonna be a one-day thing by any means. I'm gonna probably make the first time I do it a 12-hour, since I owe one of those anyways. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do as much as possible. My goal for that 12-hour is just to get the edges done. I feel like the edges by themselves, it's gonna be some trial and error. As long as I can get the edges done, I think we can really start hammering at it. Will it be easy? No, but we'll see.
It won't be easy. If I had to estimate how long it's gonna take you, I'm gonna say 7 to 10 streams.
I think that's probably pretty close.
I think that's pretty close. Now, in a tweet made by someone talking about how you used to say Killua, why do we not talk about that?
Just because I said it wrong really badly. I think I said Kahlua.
Kahlua?
Which, like, I don't know. I just, like, a lot of times, like, what'll happen is, like, I'll think I know. Like, most of the time when I say something, like, really wrong, it's because in my head, I'm like, oh, that's just how you say it. Like, I don't even second guess it. So I just start doing it, and it sounds all right. And then someone's like, oh, what the hell? What are you doing? I'm like, oh, no, did I do it? Oh, damn it. I don't, like, check it. So, like, these days, I basically just, like, any name I'm not even sure of, I'll just check it real quick. Put it in the translator and just, like, okay, that's how you say it. Boom. Got him.
I mean, you have sometimes where you have, like, the case with Rustage, who sometimes some names don't translate, like Bankai. He said Bankai for his hit him with a Bankai or something like that in his rap. But that was because he read the manga, so he couldn't get the pronunciation of it, which is fine. So there's always that type of thing that happen where you just forget how to say it once in a while, which is always fine. So. Oh
yeah, I'm definitely primarily a manga reader these days for most series, so a lot of times, like, I just don't, like, I think, like, because you say it in your head, like, one way a million times, and then finally, like, you get to it and you're like, okay, so that's probably how you say it, right? And then a lot of times I'll, like, make sure to actually check, and, like, even if I say it wrong, I'm saying it a lot closer than I would otherwise. So it's definitely good to, like, pop things into a translator and, like, you know, play the audio file and see how they pronounce it. It definitely helps. It's one thing that's helped me a lot, since I am notorious for mispronouncing every Japanese name and phrase.
Most definitely.
On the moon.
So, what did you mean by the Berserker armor stays on during sets?
Exactly what I said there, Tau. Exactly what I said. I have no further comment.
Nice. I agree. So I see that you are a drummer and a duder. But what was your favorite song to play on the drums whenever you got the chance to play it?
I would say the last one I learned is probably the most fun so far. It's called it's a song called 27 by the band Title Fight. It's like not super hard in terms of like what you have to do. It's at a nice what is it called, BPM, I think, beats per minute, which is basically like where the song is like super fast, you got to go faster to keep up the beat. This one's at a good BPM, so I'm not like overexerting myself, But at the same time, it's got this really complex part, at least for me, in the middle, where you kind of have to do a lot of tom work, which is something that's fun to me. And I just have a lot of fun playing it because of that, mostly.
I got into the drums, I think, how long was it? 7 years ago now, myself. And I actually, speaking of that, I came back to drumming at the church my parents go to. I finally decided to get back into drumming. And I was rusty, yes. It's been, I think, 7 months since I last drummed, since yesterday. And it was so funny, because when I was drumming, I was like, I'm gonna mess up so badly. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting comments from everyone like, you did so good, and I'm over here, I messed up that one song, though. that one part, I had this cool plan. And it was just like, I think it was like, you hit the snare, you then quickly hit the crash cymbal, like, almost directly after, for, like, the filler.
Yeah.
That was the type of fill I was going for, but I had to do that 3 times. I messed up every time. So, no one saw it.
I mean, I respect it. I'm definitely rusty myself, so I respect that.
But I think my favorite songs to play on the drums, I love playing Grinch, which is the Demon Slayer opening. Any Attack and Titan opening. And also Enter the Sandman is probably one of my first songs that I learned how to play, and was one of my favorites for a long time.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I came into your channel way after the Duke came in. Where did the idea of the Duke Deuce come from?
Mainly just because, in general, like, I would say the entire, like, Mr. Skeletal thing is just a meme that I've just kind of forced upon myself at this point. You know, the Dude, Mr. Skeletal, meme's been around for a while, and I had an emote ready to go for it and everything. And I want to say, like, because, you know, a lot of people have these little things that they'll do for, like, when people drop a sub or just something, like, a little extra to give people a little spice, you know? And I was like, okay, I don't really know what I should do for something like that. And then I just came up with the idea, like, hey, I've got the Dude emote. Let me just, like, see if I can buy a trumpet or, like, a horn or whatever. So I scoured Amazon for the fairest price I could find for something that... Because, like, a lot of trumpets are pretty pricey for what they are. And I wanted something just small, because I wanted it to look as close to the actual Dude horn as possible. And the one I found is probably just like a $40 horn. So I was like, hell yeah. And I bought it. I didn't even know how to do it into it. I thought it was broke, because, like, I didn't know you had to pucker your lips. So I was sitting there like, I'm like, yeah, guys, like, I'll get the hang of it eventually. Don't worry. And there's like, oh, pucker your lips. I'm like, oh, really? And it just worked. And I was like, oh, frick yeah. Dudes for life.
I used to be a clarinet player, so I understand what you mean by that a little bit.
Hell yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I remember what it is now. It wasn't even just for subs and stuff like that. What I got it for is because channel points were just becoming a thing. And I, like, okay, I should have something cool for people to spend them on. So I came up with the Dude idea, and I wasn't even going to tell anybody what it was. Someone would just redeem it, and I would just start blowing the horn.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole gag, basically.
Most definitely. So, question. What were your thoughts on the tower?
Which tower would that be?
The tower. You know what tower I'm talking about.
Oh, that one?
That tower.
I can't comment on that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, dang. The Minecraft turning tower was epic. The tower of Minecraft.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. I was kind of sad because I had to leave early, but I was kind of sad that we had to come down. I figured they should have specified that sky bases were not a rule before we went into it. But it was great to see everyone was salty.
Yeah.
Over something so trivial.
It most definitely wasn't your guys' fault, because you were not notified. Hell, I didn't even know what was going on. I was just laughing. I'm like, wait, they couldn't do that? Wait, why did they specify that? that should have been the first thing you specify.
Yep.
But they didn't, and I mean, you were in the right. You guys had full capability of doing that, especially if you guys didn't know the rules completely.
Indeed, so sad.
But it was fun. I'm getting a call somehow. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna wait until this call goes over. Sorry.
No, take it if you need to. Don't worry about me.
No, it's not for me. It's for my brother.
Gotcha.
Okay, I think you probably answered it. Okay. Now we're going into D&D. What was the inspiration for your character Verona in D&D?
I can't say that I had too much outside inspiration. The main thing was just that I knew I wanted to have a character who would have some sort of like backstory involving his hatred for the Marines, or at least a specific Marine. I knew that going into it. I knew that I wanted him to be scarred. Not really inspired from anything in particular, but I guess you could say that subconsciously I probably took it from things like Avatar and My Hero and things like that, just because, you know, fire burns or whatever. But I think the main thing was I wanted his lower half of his face to be kind of like a skeleton type thing. And the best way to do that is with like tragic burns. And outside of that, the only other like real inspiration that came in was for his name. And that's because a lot of times when I drive through Wisconsin, there's a little town / city that I pass by called Verona. And I've never been there, but I always like, hey, that's a cool name. And I've always had the idea of like, if I ever made like a certain channel for this other kind of content, I would probably have called it Verona. But I didn't think that was going to end up coming to fruition at any point. So, you know, I'll just name my D&D character that. It's a cool name.
Yeah. So you may have been asked, you may have been asked this prior to this interview, but I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, this was your first D&D experience, correct?
I had one session with the good old Evan from American Sushi, Zesty James, and Zesty Luke, and another friend of ours, because they wanted, James in particular, wanted to start a campaign with us. But most of us were kind of just goofing around way too much and not taking it seriously, so it was kind of a weird experience, and we never really did it again. It was just a one-time thing, so this was like my first true D&D experience, you could say.
So what was your initial thoughts going into the campaign?
Knowing that it was going to be like a live game, I was kind of more just like a little nervous about the fact that I didn't really know how to play, and I didn't know, it took me a while, I feel, to like really get into the feel of like how to role play my character and how to, you know, chime in when I need to and everything like that. So I would say the biggest hurdle going into it was more just knowing how to like play correctly, because I didn't want to like screw up, you know.
You can most definitely tell that with so I play D&D myself, not constantly now, but I have a campaign now in currently with several friends. But when it comes to playing D&D, you can tell when someone's new, but you guys seem like you guys were able to fit in correctly. I know this was like Braid's first time playing, and I think it might have been Noble's as well. But Tekken, he played before. Rushes, he played before. And Rushes, you have a great DM in Rushes. Rushes is phenomenal at what he does.
Oh yeah, One Piece D&D would definitely not be what it is without Rustage. That's
most definitely
a given.
And then Tekken as the captain was probably the best move, because he has like the most experience.
Honestly, all of us were sitting there like, hey, who's gonna be captain? And none of us wanted to. We're all like, I don't know, man.
Okay, Tekken, you take it from here.
I think he was stuck with it by default, honestly, since he had the most experience with D&D and he's such a forward personality. I felt like we all felt he would be best.
And then I think Briggs has a phenomenal like role-playing part. You have a phenomenal role-playing, especially like the 2 episodes ago now, when you gave that speech to Zero, I think his name was. That felt like it was such an impactful speech. Hell, going back to when you were talking to Mero, that one speech we pulled out, I was shaking. I mean, dude, you guys did so well. I will say that the only issue with that is that I will say both of those speeches were scripted. Mm-hmm. I made sure ahead of time I had both of them planned in terms of like, if I have this opportunity, I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And because I wanted to make sure I got all the information across in a good manner. So I will say it was not improv, unfortunately, but I don't know if that takes away the impact or not. But it doesn't, because you look at acting, and improv always comes in when you're doing some type of script. Whenever I do a YouTube video, for example, they're usually scripted, but I go out of bounds here and there with my video. Like, I add on stuff occasionally that comes up in my mind that is not on my script. I improvise at points. Because I even have sometimes on my script saying, improvise here, have fun. And just like, okay, now I improvise. And just like, role-playing comes into scripting and all that as well. And I think even if you were to tell me, yeah, it was all scripted, I am fine. Like, it still had the same impactful moment. nonetheless. Scripting is one thing, but when you're able to take on the character's role as well, take on his voice, take on how he will feel in that scenario, which you did both times, is amazing. You really did amazing. So
thank you. I tried the best I could.
Now, continuing going off of that, what are your thoughts of it now?
Of D&D as a whole?
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of fun. I have a blast every week. For a while there, especially like in the very high tension sessions, it's kind of I kind of have to psych myself up to it because one, I don't want to die. Yeah. Two, I got to try to make smart decisions, and it's like also just being on a live setting with that many people, plus other people that you're working with directly. It's like it's kind of in a way, it's like a nerve-wracking experience, but as soon as it gets started, it's always just an absolute blast every single time. Those feelings go away immediately, and it's just nothing but fun from there on out. And like I will say, like the sessions where we get to fight a lot and like have like a really cool like battle dynamic are always super cool. But I will say the sessions I have the most fun with are where we're just kind of goofing around. Those are the best ones, I gotta say.
Would you say
for me at least?
The last second session, would you say that is by a goof around session, or were you just?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That was a fun session. I got.
I had so much fun with that one.
I think it released a YouTube video. I gotta watch that before Wednesday. I think it is. So.
Yes, this Wednesday, 13th.
Oh hell yeah! So if you were to estimate where your character's power level is, so this is a little bit of power scaling. I'm not a usual big power scaler myself, but if you were to compare it to an actual person in the story, where would you rank yourself at?
It's kind of hard to say because I feel like for the most part, at least in like actual One Piece, hockey didn't really become a thing until right before the New World. Whereas we're on the Grand Line still, and I feel like we don't have basically anytime soon. I do not see us going to a New World, so I feel like I kind of have to think of myself like on the Grand Line, but I just happen to get these abilities a little early in comparison. I would probably put myself somewhere in like the Baroque work ranks if I had to like give myself a power level more or less, like maybe one of the top tier, like the higher numbers in Baroque works. Either that or because I'm definitely not like at the level of like CP9 or anything like that. I don't think, not even close, but we're getting there, slowly but surely. I just dual classed as an artificer recently, so I have a lot of new tricks up my sleeve that I haven't got to show off yet. So a lot of cool stuff on the way.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and plus I haven't shot my teammates in a long time, so that's improvement.
Actually, that reminds me. How does it feel to be the supreme marksman of hitting everyone, not just your enemies?
Well, I will say it feels pretty good most of the time. Luckily, I have not. I think it's at least been like a good 7-8 sessions since I've shot a teammate now. So as much as I love the running gag, I feel like it just doesn't fit anymore. Not until I actually shoot one of them again.
I mean, you have shot every one of your teammates, and as soon as you shoot another person and join the squad, it's like, welcome to our squad, baby.
Yep.
So that's like your initiation, man. But I think the final question for D&D, what would you like your character to become in the future of the campaign?
I would more or less just like him to stay alive. That's my main thing. I'll let him progress naturally. I feel at this point, his main goal was to get revenge on Mero, who obviously directly killed his father and injured him gravely. And now, like, he obviously wants to know the truth of what happened, but it is no longer his primary goal at this point. At this point, his primary goal is mainly just to help everyone else on the crew achieve what they're looking for. He has a lot of loyalty towards his crew, more or less. So, at this point, knowing that we have a grandfather character out there, and also, I feel like a lot of people were probably disappointed that there wasn't much interaction between him and his mother, but it fits with the character in terms of like he absolutely doesn't give a rat's ass about her because she didn't give a rat's ass about him type of thing. And he's not even convinced that she had a hand in the murders. More or less, she just, didn't care that it happened type of thing. Yeah. So, and I think... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All I was going to say is I feel like with this new grandfather character, there's going to be some lore coming in there that we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And then more or less, I just want to, help support my crew in the best way possible. That's what I hope to see my character go.
And to be honest, I wouldn't be like disappointed. I actually did expect like some type of conversation between you and Captain Verona, but it was just like, it doesn't match his character. When you see him flying away, he wouldn't care enough, because his main goal right now is, you can tell that his main goal is now helping the crew escape. So he would not try and, okay, hold on, I'm gonna touch my mom real quick. No, he would just be like, yeah, we're getting off this ship. I don't give a fuck about her. Bye-bye. That's the way I looked at it. It was just like, yeah, you can be disappointed that there wasn't interaction to find out more, but that isn't the point sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, that's all you need, is him saying, I don't care enough to get down there and ask these questions, because, I mean, you don't know. And just from her one saying, who? To, I think, Ragnar was all you needed. She probably forgot who Verona was, so... Exactly.
I will say one thing I kind of had in the back of my mind that didn't end up happening was that for the longest time I thought that like I was riding on Pearl with Duros. I forgot that we got off. So one thing I was going to do after we talked to Cyril is, as we were going to go work on the levers, I was going to take out another coke grenade and be like, hey, you see that lady down there? Go blow her up, please. And I just kind of drop it and just, just a little send off of like, just a little middle finger to her as I fly in the distance. But it didn't end up getting to happen. There was more pressing things that matter. And since he didn't really care about her, it's more like if he had the chance, he probably would have done that. But
yeah,
it's whatever.
Most definitely.
The campaign moves on.
It does move on. Now, going to the comment section, I only have a few questions here. We're going to speed past these real quick. So a man on your 101 Fats of 2Spooky started that your fiance is sold madness confirmed. Is that true?
We're divorced.
Okay.
Soul Madness, divorce means, it happens.
It does.
Thanks, Soul Madness, fricker.
Oh, man.
How dare he?
So someone by the name of Lily Penguin 123 called you out for a Monopoly game. Do you take the challenge?
As long as they don't play like Viva.
Yeah, Viva, I'm against Viva.
Cheater.
Viva, that was a cheater. I think we played against Viva one time. I don't remember who came in, but Viva's internet crapped out halfway through it. So I don't remember who. I know I was in Jordan's chat talking about, I think it was David. I think the dude's name was David, and we were just like, it was Martyr, myself, Viva, and Arsis playing. Arsis won, which was probably my first defeat, but then again, I was just joking around half the time. Which is always fun. I was having fun. I wasn't really trying to win. It would have been a plus side, but it was just more or less, I'm hanging out. And Viva disconnected, and a guy named David ruined all of his plans, and I was laughing. And we were calling David best boy and all that. So it was
Hell
great.
Yeah.
It was probably the most comeuppance you can get, especially since you weren't there. It would have been hilarious if you were actually there. Viva.
Bro, I'm never playing with Viva again. That man ruined my whole life.
I feel that.
How dare he? And Jordan too. How dare he?
Yeah.
They're in cahoots.
Brigo joined in, but I don't think it was more or less. I think he was just like, yeah, this is a long game.
Yes and no. Like I think there was some shenanigans there, yes, but the main act of the cheat came from Viva and Jordan, and I will never play with them again.
And Viva do smell, so.
He does smell, yes. That was very hard to get through the game that way.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's where his odor started, to be honest.
Probably.
You just like all of a sudden like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that? And you just look over and you're like, oh, it's that guy, Viva. Smelly McGee.
It is time now, everyone, for the serious question of the day, where I ask a serious question. So, coming from a legendary cook yourself, a cooking expert who has made butter noodles, toast on Mudon's Weave Wars video. He also attempted to make mac and cheese with a pound, which did not end up going well. I won't go into that. But he also made pizza and soon will be making lasagna. Who would win in a battle of cooking? Sanji from One Piece or Soma Yukihira from Food Wars?
Ooh. I'm probably going to go ahead and say Sanji for this one.
Okay.
I mean, Sanji was literally able to take down a Yonko with food, so...
I think that's a reasonable answer. So, But in all seriousness, who is the better MILF, Orihime or Nico Robin?
Ooh, well, Nico Robin is my top one,
Yeah.
but the issue here is not top one. It's just pure MILF material, right? And I think the fact that Orihime has children and therefore makes her a 100% bona fide MILF gives her the win on this one. Unfortunately for Robin.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you know it's kind of true.
MILF Orihime is kind of top tier. She's like S tier for me.
Yeah, there are 2 S's involved.
Okay. So, we're getting into some of the questions I have from several people. This one came from Soul Slayer himself.
Soul Slayer.
So, Spooky, you made a great video about Vagabond once. Have you ever researched or read any other materials about the life and legend of Miyamoto Musashi, such as his classic test, The Book of Five Rings?
So yes and no, actually. So basically, I've always kind of had I've been writing down ideas for a long time about maybe if I ever have the time or effort in the future to make a channel based on more real life type of stuff. Miyamoto Musashi's story is something that I've had written down as an idea for that, and I have looked into it a little bit. I haven't read any of the stories or books surrounding him, but I have looked into a lot of the history involving him in general, just of what's available online. So I will say that I have. However, I haven't gone as extensively as I would like at this point. But it looks really cool. There's a couple things I learned that I was like, oh, right, damn, really?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So the next question.
Great question.
The next question is from one and the only smelly boy, Viva. And he asks, when did you make the conscious decision to make the videos that don't gain a lot of viewership? For example, the manga versus movie on Hellboy.
Hellboy, hell yeah, Viva. I would say basically when it's one of those things that I was super inspired to make myself, and it didn't really matter how well it did. Oldboy was one of those things because it's one of my favorite movies in general, and learning it had a manga was just such a cool experience for me, only to find out the manga sucked. I was like, oh no.
This is
so I kind of wanted to talk about it in general, and it's then I kind of just realized hey, I could do this with other movies that are based on manga. That would be a cool idea. And I knew going in that it's one of those things that would have to be an acquired taste for the vast majority of people, because when you hear anime live action, all you really hear is just, oh man, they're all terrible. They're all Netflix adaptation, disgusting. But what people don't know is that there are plenty of good ones out there. The only issue is you have to sift through a lot of junk. So that's the entire purpose of the series, really, is to be hey, watch this one, it's good. Hey, don't watch that one, it sucks, and here's why. And then that's the whole purpose, more or less. So I really hope, because I love movies in general. So seeing a lot of the stories that I love be adapted into movies is a really cool thing for me personally. And I know it falls into more of a niche, but that's the beauty of YouTube, is that no matter what you're making, there should be a niche for it somewhere, right? Even if the audience is very small, even if it takes a long time to get recognized, at the end of the day, there's a niche for everything. And if it's something you're passionate about, other people will also be passionate about it too. You just got to give it some time and effort, and it'll all work out.
Now, a mysterious person asked 2 questions. They would like to be unknown. Number 3, why are cowgirls superior?
They're not.
They're not.
I'm just kidding, they are.
Why?
I just wanted to throw everyone off there real quick.
Oh, they're not.
Cowgirls are the toppest of one, because anybody can be a cowgirl. It's all about the pattern. If you want to be a physical cowgirl, more power to you. But cowgirls can be anything.
Exactly. Now,
can anything be a wolf girl? No.
Nope.
You need physical ears and a tail to do that. And that might get in the way.
That is so sad. I mean,
tragic.
Look at Wolfie.
Plus, it's the year of the cow. The year of the ox.
I mean,
you know how much cowgirl has been on my Twitter timeline? I'm literally, this year is automatically 12 times better than last year just by that alone. Yeah. And it's only been 11 days.
Hell yeah.
11 days.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
I do love to see it.
Now, the next question this person asks is, why #OnlyHands is underrated?
Ooh. Well, I think that the OnlyHands idea is definitely going to be pioneered specifically by a specific person's hands. So unless they start it with their hands, I feel like it could kind of fail. However, I would be one of the first subscribers if a certain person's hands were involved.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Now, I will let anyone in the audience of the chat, if you have any questions you'd like to say to Spooky, write them in chat and I will answer them. But for right now, I'm going to go over some anime and manga questions real quick. What is your least favorite arc of all time in anime?
Probably the Foxy arc.
Okay. Most definitely a terrible arc. Especially in the anime.
Garbage. Disgusting.
Have you ever cried to an anime or manga?
Oh, yeah.
Many times.
I wouldn't say I've ever, like, straight up bawled, but I've definitely, like, you know, teared up multiple times.
Did you cry to the Mary?
I think that I probably shed, like, 1 or 2 tears to it, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while, so I actually don't know for sure, but I imagine I probably did. I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm. Issa asks, what is your favorite alcoholic drink?
So I definitely don't drink a lot, and I prefer not to if I can help it, but I definitely let myself dabble from time to time. As far as my favorites, basically anything that's super fruity and doesn't taste like alcohol, I'm all about.
Nice.
So my usual go-to is this vodka brand called Kinky, and I just mix it with like a soda, and it's really good.
Honestly, when I turn 21, I think I'm going to be exactly like you when it comes to that. I love fruity drinks. I think one of my favorite thing is Seagram's, the strawberry one. That's probably my favorite drink. If I had to choose a drink, I am underage, but there is
all
like
good.
that.
I didn't drink until I was 22, so I didn't have my first quality drink until I was past 21. Because I'm a gamer.
Kinky says, Issa, nice.
Yeah.
If you were Isekai into
wink, wink.
If you were Isekai into One Piece, what one character would you find yourself becoming best friends with?
Oh boy. Oh, best friends with in One Piece. Well, I would hope it's Nico Robin. I would hope. But assuming that it's not, I'm trying to think as hard as probably Frankie. I love Frankie. I want to be friends with Frankie.
I think the one I would find myself talking to, I'm not the most extroverted person, but I would love to talk to someone like Zoro because he's so chill half the time. Zoro's probably we probably would get along a lot better because I am terrible with directions. I would be on his level. I've been actually called by several friends. I am the Zoro of the real life world when it comes to directions, which is terrible.
Hey, I respect it. I need GPS wherever I go.
Even GPS, I mess up. Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
So there's a Myers that's like you go straight and you turn right. I've gotten lost to going over there, which is like, are you kidding me?
This is so tragic.
Yeah. I think the next one will probably be Sanji, just because I'm a cook and I would love to talk to him, get some cooking tips, I guess. But I think Luffy would be an enjoyable person to talk to. Frankie would be enjoyable to talk to. But there's many characters in One Piece that I can go on and on about, but they're all really great.
For sure, for sure.
So you had mentioned that Bastard is one of your favorite manhwa, right?
Yes.
Would you like to explain to the chat what it is about? Because I suck at that.
I've only read a couple manhwa, basically Bastard and then half of Sweet Home, and that's it. And they're both by the same people. But Bastard is basically about a very fragile kid in terms of very like sickly and lanky and whatever because he had an accident when he was younger. So his father is a murderer, a serial killer, if you will, and he is forced to help, and he really fucking hates it, obviously, because he, you know, has to help kill people, and that's really sad. But the reason he does it is because he's afraid his father's going to kill him if he doesn't help. So his entire goal is basically to become strong so that he can kill his father so that he is not killed.
Yeah.
And it spirals into one of the most beautiful stories of all time.
So,
10 out of 10. Read it.
Myself, I'm on chapter 20 of that, and chapter 100 is Sweet Home. So, Sweet Home, I started first, and Sweet Home got me intrigued from almost, I think, chapter 3. Bastard got me intrigued chapter 1, but I got into Sweet Home. That was when I was like, I'm gonna finish Sweet Home because I was just like, why not? I'm gonna get into Sweet Home and read it, and it's been an enjoyable time.
I need to get caught up to it.
What chapter were you on? Do you remember?
I really don't, but I think I was in the 40s.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much there's characters that's just been introduced to me. There's different things I won't go into, but oh my god, it's escalating into another great series. I think Bastard, from what I've read, is like an 8 out of 10. I think Sweet Home's been like a 9 to a 10 out of 10 for me.
Ooh, exciting.
So, Sweet Home, if Sweet Home and Bastard were made by the same author, I'm guarantee you I'm gonna love Bastard is when I read it. So we'll finish
Sweet Home's got a live action that I've been watching casually for a little bit now, and I think I'm basically to the point in the show where I left off in the manhwa. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see where they go.
I'm gonna have to watch it because I think they go outside, if I remember correctly, in the live action, right?
The last episode I saw, they went out for like half a second and then they came back in. So
because
I'm not there yet.
I know there was I was watching the trailer and I saw like the big fat dude stopping the car. I'm like, oh, that's like way in the series. Wait, well, hold on a moment. Where is this? So it's just like I have no idea if it's true or not, but that's what it could be, like season 2 or something. But I'm most definitely gonna check it out when I finish the actual manhwa. So
hell yeah, it's pretty good so far. I do say so myself.
So Issa has another question. While talking about kinks, does Spooky have any other kinks than cowgirls?
Ooh, short answer, yes, but I'm not gonna get Tau banned by talking about very explicit things on stream.
Yeah, that would be bad. Jordan!
You can just let your mind wander, Issa.
Yes. Welcome, Jordan. Yes, this is 2Spooky.
Yes.
What was what got you into watching anime?
I definitely was huge into Pokemon as a kid, and I was also super huge into Yu-Gi-Oh! I watched it whenever it was on. But I would say the first like actual anime experience I would have was watching Naruto every week. I also watched One Piece a lot before Naruto, but like I wasn't like explicitly taking every Saturday night to watch an anime until Naruto, and I would say that's where my journey started.
Okay. Now, I have a couple more questions. Do you have any ships in anime, like fan ships? Like everyone probably has like a ship deep down. Would you have any ships in mind at the moment that you aren't gonna be like the fans of like Deku at Sochako or Bakugo or whoever it is, who pretty much attach the author if their ship doesn't go their way. But I highly doubt you're gonna be like that. But do you have any like ships that you want to happen or has happened?
I would say for the most part, it just like is on a series per series basis, and a lot of the times like is one of those things that I'll just be like, yeah, you know, these two are probably good for each other. But unless it's like super outrageous who they end up with, I don't usually care very much. I would say I wouldn't say that I can think of any ships offhand that like I'm super anal about, more or less.
I think the only one that I can come up with offhand right now is Tashigi at Zoro. That's probably the first ship that I got into for One Piece, and probably the one ship I'm really into. But I think the one ship that I was so happy about was Naruto and Hinata. So I think that was like the ship I had from the get-go watching Naruto.
Gotcha. I guess I do have one ship, which is Tsunade and me.
Nice. I mean, I have Boa and me, Erina and me. So I mean, I get where that goes. But
hell yeah.
One more question: what is the most difficult part of being a YouTuber or a streamer?
I would say for me personally, it's more just the time-consuming nature of it. Other than that, I would just say what's the word? Because no matter what quote-unquote job or profession you take, there's always going to be ups and downs no matter what. And like, even though for the most part, a lot of things about streaming and YouTube are fantastic, it does have its fair share of things that are like really scary. Like for instance, the fact that if you make streaming or YouTube your livelihood, all it takes is like one wrong strike or saying the wrong thing on stream, and like your entire livelihood is just gone like that, you know? So it's one of those things where you just kind of have to live in this existential dread that what you're doing right now could absolutely change at any moment. And if you're not prepared for that, it's going to be really awful. So I would say kind of just like coming to terms with that is probably the hardest thing. But outside of that, I find a lot of times that it just requires a lot of energy, you know? Because like, especially like on stream, like there's a lot of times when like I'll be playing some Apex boys with like good old Jordino, Cyanide, Briggs, whomever. And it's like, I'm not streaming. And then everyone will be like, hey, why isn't Spooky streaming? And it's like, because I've already kind of exhausted my mental energy for the day, and I just kind of want to relax, you know? But when it comes to chat, it's like, since I'm more of an introverted person, it's great to talk to everybody, but if I don't have the energy to do it, or if like I feel like I wouldn't be able to give my full attention to everybody, I just feel like I'm kind of wasting their time or not really giving them what they came for. So it's easier for me just to relax and just kind of read their chats and just, you know, focus on the game, let myself wind down. You know, that's the hardest thing for me.
So I know that I said that was final question, but I got 2 more questions from chat. Haywire,
oh yeah.
Haywire asks, how do you feel about Frankie and Robin?
Well, Robin X me comes first, but after that, I'm okay with Frankie and Robin.
Most definitely.
I don't mind it.
Jim is asked, have you ever had a weird interaction with a fan IRL? Or not a girl, but a fan IRL?
I have not met a fan IRL.
Okay.
I have not been recognized, which is good, mostly because I just live in a small area. I will say the weirdest thing is definitely when like you'll be talking to somebody and like they'll bring YouTube stuff up, and then you kind of have to talk about it. It's like, I don't want to, bro, stop.
Yeah.
But I would say I haven't yet had like an awkward interaction, just because I haven't had one yet, and that's mainly just because I don't go anywhere.
I feel that. I understand when it comes to talking to a fan IRL. You obviously have to actually go IRL, go to like conventions and stuff, which is always hard to do. I think the first ever time I actually mentioned this yesterday on my last interview, where I didn't interview, my brain went all over the place. I actually went to see, I was having a rough day. I went to see the Dragon Ball Broly movie in theaters. Not the new one, but they were doing like the old movies, like Broly, the Fusion Reborn, the Bardock episode, that type of movie. And it was only like $4 a ticket to go watch it. So I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go watch some Dragon Ball. Call it good. I'm in line for a pop. And like I said, I was, whenever I get like, having a rough day, I'm always going to pop for some reason, just because it kind of calms me down, which is terrible.
I respect that. I'm the same way, but I try to cut it out.
I do too.
Oh man, dude, a good soda is my beck and call.
Yeah, and I remember turning around and my face lit up because there was someone I recognized when I was younger. He was probably the first YouTuber I've ever watched. His name was Pungence. He was the very first YouTuber I ever watched. I remember his Minecraft videos. That's what I used to watch as a kid. And I remember watching him when he first started YouTube, and I was just like, wait, that isn't him. I look back, because I watch him here and there occasionally, because he's still a funny dude. I turn back again, and then his dad points me out. I'm like, oh, God, no! So I instantly recognized him, the dude, and then after that, we started talking, and then I got a picture, obviously, tweeted about it, and then the next time, I went to saw the Fusion Reborn and Bardock episode, and I saw him again, but this time, he was trying to find me, which is the most weirdest thing I've ever thought would happen. But he was trying to find where I was sitting at, so we talked again, and then we made plans to see the Dragon Ball Bully movie, the Endgame movie, so it was something that turned into a friendship that I really like, and he's like one of the people I turn to when it comes to YouTube. Just like, hey, what do you have as pointers for me? What can I kind of improve? Because he's a bigger person, and just like, I want some advice when it comes to stuff. So, and he's just a good guy to talk to. He really is.
That's awesome. The only YouTuber I've met IRL is C-Dog, VA. And that's because I went to a convention and he happened to be there. So I watched his little presentation, and then I shook his hand because he was doing a signing or whatever. So I was like, hey, I'll get a picture with you. So I met C-Dog. But I went completely incognito, so.
Yeah. I think the one thing I always like about just introverting online, whenever I'm talking to someone online, such as you right now, it would be so much different for me to actually talk to you in real life because, one, I'm making eye contact, which is like, are you kidding me? I'm an introvert. I'm really bad. And when it's online, I feel a lot more calmer, I guess you can say. I can shed my personality a little bit more than just, I don't want to become a fanboy in real life. I don't want to, like, not embarrass myself, but I don't want to set off the wrong impression in real life. Where online, it's just like, I can just become me and not worry about stuff like that. And the interview series was one of the things that I came up with, not just because I want to interview people, and it wasn't even for like, oh, this could get me a lot of views. And no, it wasn't even that. It was just more or less, I want to be able to talk to new people. And no, I met so many new people. This is how I met Cyanide. I mean, well, touch Cyanide. And that was like a great achievement. Talking to Mudan, talking to Johnny, talking to you. It's just always great to have that. And I don't want to be like the type of person who's always fanboying the entire time, because that is not my purpose. I want to become, like, it's supposed to be a chill conversation. Yes, it's an interview, but it's supposed to be more of a chill interview where you're able to relax, answer a few questions, meme questions, some personal, I guess, and some like career questions, which is just like, it gives me a chance to get better at social life, because actually after some interviews I went outside and was a lot better at interviews. I was a lot better at talking to people for the first time. So with these, it gives me experience while also trying to make new friends, and that's what I love about this series.
Hell yeah, awesome.
But that is all the questions for today. Thank you so much for coming out, man. It really does mean a lot.
Hey, it was a pleasure to be here. Some great questions. Glad I could have a nice little chat with you. It was a good time. Shout out to all the lads in the chat. Ask some questions as well.
It was a fun time. And if you guys have not already, give him a follow. He's going for partner. We're gonna get him partner this year, and we're also gonna get one other person as partner, and that's good old Jordan, the anime dude YT. They're both getting partner, whether you guys like it or not. Yes, Jordan for partner, Spooky for partner. Thank you guys so much, and remember to fly high.